You already know the feeling. The argument that won't end, the relationship bleeding you dry, the room you should have left an hour ago. And still, you stay. You explain, you justify, you try one more time. That desperation, that inability to leave is not loyalty. It is a leash. And someone has the other end. Niccolo Machiavelli watched men destroy themselves this way for decades. Not on battlefields, in rooms, at tables, in conversations where they stayed 5 minutes too long and handed their power away with both hands. He understood something that most people never learn. The one who walks away first does not lose. They win completely, silently, without firing a single shot. Today, we are going to dissect exactly why. And by the end, you will never look at the exit the same way again. Part 1. The Mechanics of Leverage. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince that the greatest error a ruler can make is to be seen as indispensable to others, while allowing others to become indispensable to him. Read that again. He is not talking about armies. He is talking about need. Whoever needs the situation to continue more than the other person loses. Think about the last negotiation you were in, the last argument, the last time someone treated you poorly and you stayed anyway. Ask yourself one question. Who needed that interaction to keep going? If the answer is you, they had all the power. This is the architecture of leverage. It is not built from strength. It is built from dispensability. The man who can walk away at any moment and feel nothing, that man cannot be manipulated, cannot be threatened, cannot be moved, because the only tool manipulation has is the fear of loss. Remove the fear, and the weapon disintegrates. Machiavelli called this fortuna, the force of circumstance that controls weak men. The ones who cannot leave are controlled by fortuna. The ones who can leave have conquered it. Part 2. Why you don't walk away. The real reason. Here is the part they will never tell you in self-help videos. The reason you don't walk away is not because you care too much. It is because you are addicted to being needed. Somewhere in your psychology, staying became confused with mattering. If I leave, will they be okay? If I go, will they miss me? If I walk out, will it prove they were right about me? These are not questions of love. These are questions of ego on life support. Machiavelli was merciless on this point. He wrote that men are more attached to their own opinions than to their own interests. You stay in bad situations not because they serve you, but because leaving would force you to admit the situation was always bad. And that admission threatens your self-image. This is the trap. You are not staying for them. You are staying for the version of you that still believes this can work. You are protecting a story, and the story is costing you everything. Part 3. What occurs once you leave? This is what Machiavelli saw in the Florentine courts, in the political arenas, in all of human dynamics throughout history. When you withdraw yourself from the situation, the entire dynamic reverses. If you remain and plead, you have accepted their authority. If you exit and refuse to give them an answer, you have created a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum, and this vacuum will be filled with questions and doubts. Suddenly, there is fear. Fear that maybe they were not as dominant as they believed. Perhaps you weren't as trapped as they thought. The individual who was yelling at you begins to question whether they went too far. Your boss, who was underestimating you, begins to consider what value you really held for them. Your spouse, who was ignoring you, realizes how quiet you have become. This isn't because they miss you. It's because the dynamic was thrown into question by your departure. You didn't pursue them. You didn't plead your case. You left. By doing this, you've proved one thing. You're not as desperate as you let on. This was what Machiavelli referred to as the economy of appearances. Not only should one leave, but how one leaves is equally important. Leave without making noise. Leave without creating a mess. Leave without giving a speech or a performance for their sake. The dramatic exit will continue to entertain their reactions. Power lies in leaving without being noticed.
Part 4. Building the muscle. This is not a switch you flip. It is a muscle. And like every muscle, it has to be trained under resistance. Start small. Leave a conversation that is going nowhere. Close the app when the exchange turns toxic. Say no to the invitation that drains you. Do not explain why. Do not soften it. Do not leave a door open. Just stop. Every time you do this, every time you choose your own exit over their approval, you reinforce a neural pathway that Machiavelli would recognize as the beginning of sovereignty. You are teaching your nervous system that the world does not end when you leave, that no relationship is so essential that you must accept humiliation to keep it, that you have options, and options are the only currency of power that never devalues. Machiavelli's final word on this was not in The Prince. It was in a letter written during his exile, stripped of everything, cast out by Florence. He wrote that a man who knows how to endure solitude fears no expulsion, because expulsion is only exile if you wanted to stay. Walk away first, from the argument, from the dynamic, from the person who only values you when you are begging. Not because you don't care, but because you have finally understood the only truth that matters. Your presence is not a right they are owed. It is a privilege. And privileges, Machiavelli knew better than anyone, are only respected when they can be revoked. If something in this video cracked open a door in your mind, subscribe. Leave a comment with the one situation you have been staying in far too long. You already know what it is. The question is, are you ready to walk